Welcome to Behind the Brand. I'm starting a new weekly series where we dive into what are some brands doing and what's behind what they're doing, and is that a good idea? Is it a bad idea? And what can you walk away with it? I'm picking three brands this week: Haagen Dazs, T-Mobile, and JCPenney. Let's start with JCPenney. So JCPenney is running a new ad. JCPenney, by the way, just to give you a little bit of context about who they are, they had major brand problems, major negative sentiment. They closed tons of stores. Now they're back and revitalized. And their strategy for a good while was making other people jealous of the fact that, oh yeah, it's JCPenney. I got the same dress that you did, or the same shirt that you did, or the same watch that you did for half the price. Be jealous. It's JC. And it was operating from a point of weakness, their own self-consciousness about, hey, we're not as good as the other brands are. We might be cheaper, but we want to show we're just as good as they are. And that generally doesn't work. It's a little bit negative, a little bit off-putting, and it's a little bit weird. In this one, though, they've taken a little bit of a different approach. I think it's better, but it's not there yet. You can see I'm starting to track some of this stuff in SEMrush, which is a digital marketing platform, where you can start to see. I've been tracking JCPenney. You can start to see some of their sentiment is shifting. I like to do a deeper dive in that at some point because I don't think that's really shifting to the way that it actually is in reality. I think certain things are shifting. I think there's some real core issues that are still present that are not showing up necessarily. You just look at it at first glance in the trackers. Okay. Anyway, so what JCPenney did, they had Shaq, who everyone loves Shaq. I think Shaq is universal. Shaq is a universal treasure. And they had him, and they had basically a stand-up comedian talking about everyone needs more towels. Everyone wants more towels. They're now 50% off at JCPenney. Okay, fine. Now the good thing is they didn't go with that weird negative, we're better than you think we are, we're JCPenney, and this whole weird jealousy thing they have in the past. It's pretty straightforward. It's a big star. It's a little bit of comedy, and they're giving you insight into their latest deal on their latest sale. Fine. The problem that I think JCPenney has, by the way, is that what they're trying to do, and you can see this being picked up, by the way, in ChatGPT and AI and all the LLMs, they're trying to build up a brand identity around they have the best deals. The problem with that kind of strategy is that it's great for a while. It can help you get some traction. I'm not necessarily against it, but I wouldn't do it long term. Be very conscious, okay, we need to pivot and get out of this. But the problem with being the place for the best deal is the second you're not the place for the best deal, you're no longer the place and you're just a utility. And that's a very dangerous place for a brand to be in because now if I'm Target or if I'm Walmart or if I'm Amazon, I see JCPenney cutting into our bottom line. Okay, now we have to go a little more drastic measures. We'll do better deals. We'll go with pushing our deals harder than we were in the past, yada, yada, yada. And that's a hard game to win for JCPenney. It's not a long-term strategy. This is not a long-term strategy. This is an immediate strategy, maybe a medium to long-term. Definitely something you can keep around as part of your identity, but there needs to be something bigger than we just have the best deals. That's a dangerous game, friendo. Next up, Haagen Dazs. Love this. So Haagen Dazs, I didn't even realize this. Haagen Dazs ran an ad in the Super Bowl with the Fast and Furious people, Vin Diesel, whatever, and they're driving fast down the road, and all of a sudden they pull in a Haagen Dazs bar, and everything slows down. Life is just slowing down. And so one of the other characters was up alongside, hey, aren't you going to keep going fast, basically? And they're like, nah, we're just taking it easy. Great. I mean, it was an okay commercial. Let me say that. It was an okay commercial. It's pretty good. The concept is really nice. I'm not sure how well it really shined through. The concept is wonderful. And what I really like about what they're doing is, first of it did result in not just the commercial, but this whole idea. Let me double back. They are doubling down on this idea, which that I love. That's what I want to highlight. I'm just going to pull a quote from, I think it's their head of marketing. Savoring some time to yourself does not connect with the world that we know consumers are living in, where it's just so fast. Everything's changing. I can barely keep up with all the trends on TikTok, said Rachel Javen, head of marketing at Haagen Dazs. People feel overprogrammed, and if you're not moving fast, you feel like you're behind. That is tapping into the times. I can tell you, right, I feel burned out. I got 4 kids and 14 different WhatsApp groups, all their schools, and then LinkedIn messages and YouTube and this and then that thing, and then the latest trends on this. It's impossible. I will let you in. I stopped. 5 or 6 o'clock comes around. I stop. It can wait till tomorrow. That's where I'm at. So this really resonates with me. This whole concept resonates with me. Now it's a matter of executing. It is yielding real results because this is a reality that people are facing. Haagen Dazs is leaning into it, and they seem like they're trying to deal with it in a real meaningful way. And that's what I like about the campaign. They're saying that they're going to keep this campaign ongoing, and it's resulted in all sorts of great numbers: 11% year-over-year increase in views on Instagram, 120% on TikTok, increased brand awareness. It's working. It's resonating. And that's what I've always told you. If you resonate, it works. The metrics follow the resonation. So I love that. I think it's great. I think the thing that really gives me hope about what they're doing is the fact that it does seem like they're really tapped into a real meaningful idea. Now, last up is T-Mobile. I was going to make T-Mobile, they're doing something great. I was watching football last week. Last week, meaning not week two, week one, American football, for those of you who don't follow American football. T-Mobile had a great ad. I'm going to get back to that in a second. T-Mobile is announcing they're sponsoring George Kittle. George Kittle's a tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. He's everywhere. He's in a Papa John's ad. He's in a Budweiser ad. He's the hottest, latest, greatest NFL player. And T-Mobile is jumping on that bandwagon. What these players inevitably do, a lot of them have these kind of shows. Some of them are more centered on sports. Some of these sports stars are more centered on just life stuff. There's one Mookie Betts who's a baseball player. He's got a great podcast. He's just down with other baseball players and they talk about what they do during games. Very interesting. Kittle is doing he's got a big personality. He's doing this whole show about his interests and blah, blah, blah. He likes Pokemon. He likes whatever. T-Mobile sponsoring it, and this is a whole big deal. I think this is more of the same. I thought T-Mobile, I was going to give you a big prop for doing something different in another ad that you're running, and I will give them props on this because it's great. This, meh. Everyone else is doing the same thing. It doesn't set you apart. In a moment in time, I think you have to realize where brands are. There are moments in time. In a moment in time where it's very important for T-Mobile not to be doing the same as everybody else. Why is that important? So T-Mobile started running an ad 2 weeks ago, just in time for the NFL season, with Billy Bob Thornton. Is that his name? A guy from Landfill, coach from Friday Night Lights, the movie, not the TV show. I think he used to be married to Angelina Jolie. I'm not good at this stuff. Anyway, he's doing a commercial where he says, he's walking, there's big, fields, and he's saying Verizon, they used to have the best network. And that's not true anymore. They used to have the biggest network, and that's not true anymore. And he just, runs through it. He quotes this study, that study, and they're doing more and what they're doing this. And he really hits on a perception. This is what I mean. Brands need to understand the moment in time. And here, T-Mobile did a great job. They understand the moment in time. Verizon is not where it used to be. If you look at the sentiment around their complaints, way more than T-Mobile. People are way more unhappy with their service than T-Mobile service. You just go look at a Q research tool, the LLM, is pretty easy to spot. And they're in a position to take over. And they are taking over. And they're just calling out the situation. And they're letting as the audience, you don't know that perception where you feel Verizon just doesn't have it anymore? That sense that you have? We're here to validate it. It's true. Verizon is no longer the best network. It is no longer the biggest network. And what you're feeling is true. That's very powerful. You just validated the audience general perception. So T-Mobile tapped into what the audience general perception of reality is, knew that it wasn't verbalized and conscious, was a very important part of the process, and brought it to the forefront in a very tangible, conscious way. And now the audience, their feelings feel validated, and now they see T-Mobile in a new way. The second T-Mobile did that, now they went back to doing just marketing with George Kittle sponsoring his TV show, blah, 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 blah. And that's where you lost the moment. I mean, I don't think they've lost it, but there's clearly something not synced up in their marketing philosophy. Either it's not synced up in the marketing philosophy, or the philosophy that I just told you about, they haven't fully realized and they stumbled on it maybe 75% on purpose, 25% by accident, which does happen. And that is this edition. Hope you learned something about what the brands are doing, what you can take away from them. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think. And love to talk about it with you more because there's a lot to chew on here, but I'm not going to go super long in this video.